Hey, I'm Broken Finn. You could just call me Finn. I got a microphone. I'm still working out the kinks. I don't know how close to the microphone I need to be, so bear with me. Some of the dialogue may be quieter than the rest, but at least the recording is clear. This is a Wizard City movie, a read-aloud visual novel of a fan fiction I wrote based on the game Wizard 101. This is part 3. If you need to catch up, check out my Wizard 101 playlist on my channel or in the link down below. If you're excited to see what's next and can't wait for part 2 of Firecat Alley, you can read ahead in the fanfiction. The Google Doc is linked down below. But before you do all of that, sit back and relax and watch Talon enter the first street in Old Town.
The most urgent situation is in Firecat Alley. I always hear back from the guard there, Private Quinn. He's the only one in that street because it's usually pretty calm over there. He's a big fan of the Fire Elf actors and updates us at least twice a day about the next big performance they're doing.
Sergeant Muldoon shakes his head. He sighs, then continues.
The problem is, he hasn't sent any messenger oracles today. I've gotten no information from the street, not even from the blacksmith, Shellis Gruffheart. I already sent men down there, but they were stopped at the entrance. They're still being attacked by haunted minions and fire elves. I'm not sure how many of my men have gotten into Firecat Alley. Can you sneak past the hordes and help him before he's too burnt up?
You jog down the steep slope until you reach the tunnel to Firecat Alley. Still uncomfortable with the dark tunnels, you decide cautiously entering is your best option. But when you feel your way through to the other side, you're blocked off from the alley. There's a line of 6 guards with shields taller than them held in a line. They take turns pushing wooden constructs back, keeping them from entering Old Town. In the distance, you can hear a man scream,
"It's ablaze over here! Get us help!" That sounded like Private Quinn. Where's Orion, Guildenstern, and the rest? Are they not already aiding him?
One of the guards asks, glancing between his colleagues. The one with the biggest beard shakes his head.
I can't send any more of you in. We have to keep these constructs from invading Trident Avenue. We just have to hope Quinn can handle a few elves. Can I go help him?
You ask, unable to get past their shields. The bearded guard smiles.
Why yes, we could use some magical help.
Their shields part like a drawbridge. You are smaller and less noticeable than the guards, but not invisible. The unnatural dummies swat at you, so you're forced to face a few of them. The haunted minions jerk around as if pulled by invisible strings. You can't tell if they're living or not. Maybe a strong bolt from Thunder Snake will cut their strings. After a successful cast, the haunted minion still stands. They're not as easily stopped as a skeletal pirate, but they don't fight well. The puppet's air-drawn symbols are sloppy. The scared beetle summoned is directionless. You're sure this time that an imp can cut the minion's invisible tethers. The wooden puppets fall apart after your last spell. Their wooden heads roll along the stone ground. There's a guard pushing past the constructs. His red Firecat Alley suit is torn to shreds, and you can see the chainmail below his clothing. A smoking arrow is sticking out of his shoulder, and his rosy round cheeks are bruised. There's a grackle on his shoulder with a bandage around one of its wings. This has to be the guard who is screaming for help. You're about to address him but can't recall his name. He shuffles over to you.
Oh, good. More help. All those guards ran to Dark Caves' entrance. Where's everyone else? There are men keeping the haunted minions from leaving Firecat Alley.
He brushes his fingers through his ash-covered curly facial hair.
Well, it's not ideal, but at least Old Town's safe. I'll call that a win. I don't know why the fire elves are attacking us. The last person who was with a majority of them before they went crazy was Elizabeth Firespitter. She's here on a spell quest by Mistress Falmea. I saw her dash out of the theater with arrows firing at her. The elves attacked everyone after that. I watched them break open Dark Caves' entrance. I was occupied with telling residents to stay inside, to close all windows and doors, no matter how hot their houses get. Will you find out what happened and make sure Elizabeth is okay?
He reluctantly touches the arrow in his shoulder and winces.
Oh, I need a break.
You search through the neighborhood. Every brick in the floor has lava between the cracks, all draining to vents full of flowing magma. The street is broken apart at the end. Lava is waterfalling past a bent fence. Down an incline, there's a large charcoal black Firecat statue with smoldering orange stripes. An older teenager with curly, fried, deep red hair is tucked beneath the statue's tail. She's carrying her pet, a fennec fox. She's clinging to her wand, a gilded torch. She has shiny, sharp red armor that you've never seen before. It appears Egyptian and ancient. There's a scarab emblem on her waistband that matches her pet's bandana. She has a broken arrow in her cape. Elves are giggling on the other side of the statue, saying something you can't make out in unison. When their creepy chant dies down, she hurries over to you. In a rushed whisper, she says, "How did you get in here? The guards won't let us leave." "They let you in? Well, good luck convincing them to let you back out. Anyhow, I'm glad you're here now. I'm supposed to be in Crocotopia. Professor Falmea requested I come back and learn a new spell that will help me on my travels."
What happened?
She removes the broken arrow from her cape. "I'm supposed to learn my spell from Alacane's Swift Arrow, but he's always busy rehearsing for his next play. I was chilling in the back of the theater. The Fire Elves were rehearsing the song Recollection from Firecats, the musical. Everything was going fine. Then one of the Fire Elves suddenly shot a tiny arrow at me. Then another elf joined in. The animosity spread like wildfire. I was chased out, carrying my pet Farah in my arms." She holds her pet up a bit higher, then continues. "While I was dodging their attacks, the little twerp at the door slipped my spellbook out of my back pocket. I've been running from them ever since. I need my spellbook. I know Professor Falmea told me to memorize the cast so I wouldn't rely on my cards, but I'm still getting the hang of tracing the spells properly. It's hard enough to get the perfect cast, you know. Will you get my spellbook back?"
Sure, I can do that.
She puts her fennec fox down. "The little twerp who stole it is a security elf dressed in yellow and has a shiv instead of a bow." She waves a hand over her clothes as she describes the elf outfit. "Try to be gentle. The Fire Elves aren't evil. Something's wrong with them. They keep repeating the same line, like they're hypnotized or cursed." You sneak through the street, avoiding the house's window panes with fire emblems so you won't stand out. Now that you're near the cluster of elves, their chant is discernible.
Fire for fiddle, burnt out ends of smoky days, the stale cold smell of morning. Fire for fiddle.
They all have wide eyes and stretched out smiles. They giggle between chants. You spot the yellow one. He's spinning the shiv in his hand like a baton. He's wearing a large sheath of arrows despite the absence of a bow. How do you get the attention of just him? You study him as he dances and circles the area like the rest.
Over here.
There's a large man in an apron hiding along the side of a building at the beginning of the street. You sneak over and realize it's a full-roofed blacksmithing station. There's a lava well in the center, connected to the underground magma system. There are swords, arrows, rings, and necklaces on display on the back wall. Large chunks of metal are piled on the workbench and anvil. There are stairs along the wall with boxes stowed beneath them. One of the crates is spilled on its side, empty. He's got a sword pointed at the elves. It's homemade, no doubt. He removes a leather-gloved hand from the hilt and gives your palm a hard shake. This must be the blacksmith Sergeant Muldoon mentioned.
I'm Shellis. I run the blacksmithing shop here. These pesky hotheads stole all my arrows. I sell them to the elves, but I've never seen them steal. They've been chanting the same thing over and over like they're cursed.
You explain.
We need to get your arrows away from them without attracting the whole group. When they stole the arrows, only a few came over. Maybe if we announce we have more, those same elves will come to replenish their sheaths?
Shellis puts a welding mask on.
If too many attack us, I'm retreating inside.
You call to the fire elves.
Get your sheaths refilled here. Free arrows.
4 small archers hop over, including the one in yellow. You and Shellis fight them off. The elves take turns firing arrows. They pierce Shellis's homemade shield. You barely dodge the arrow aimed at you. Shellis definitely has the right idea. You throw down your own elemental shields. Without words, you send your pet out to distract the yellow security elf while you scare off the rest. The elves fire their arrows again, but neither you nor Shellis are hurt. The most clever of the elves sends an imp you can't block. You plug your ears, hoping to protect yourself from the imp's fiddle. You send out Scorpion. Just the ground becoming unstable sand puts the elves' guards up. The moment the Scorpion's claw pokes out of the sand, they scatter. The security elf hadn't noticed as he's brandishing his shiv at your pet. You grab him by the scruff of his shirt. He drops his weapon and his legs swing wildly.
As he loves to tell, fire for fiddle, the fiend of the fell.
You pry the spellbook out of his arms. He screams,
Fire for fiddle!
as he scurries off. Shellis picks up the broken bows and sheaths of arrows.
Thanks. With the majority of their arrows confiscated, they're less of a threat. I'm going to lock these away until the gremlins are back to normal.
Shellis gives you a thumbs up and takes them upstairs. Striding back down the slope, you bring Liz her spellbook. Oh my Bartleby, you did it! She hugs the pocketbook, then stows it away. I've been thinking. I may not know what's causing my little friends to go crazy or how to help them, but I do know that there have been rumors that a witch is hiding on this street. They say she was fired from Ravenwood for turning a student into a humongo frog and wants revenge on Merle. Maybe she cursed the fire elves. If we find her, we can probably break the curse. Maybe one of the denizens knows how to find her.
I did just chat with the local blacksmith.
Great! You should start there. Liz bites her lip. I would go with you, but I'm all fizzled out. I don't want to risk getting hurt again. I can't put my sweet Farah in danger, she says in a baby tone to her pet. We'll see you later, Gator. We're bouncing before the elves come back. She clicks her tongue and waves in the air. A griffin swoops down, dodging arrows fired at him. He must have been hiding on a rooftop, waiting to be called. He preens his wings. Liz brushes her hands and face through his feathers. Were you hurt? She hops on his back. Thanks for your help. I'm gonna fly over the gate, just in case the guards won't let me leave still. She has the griffin bow to you, and the three take a teleporter to the main gate. You circle back to the blacksmith. Everything on display is now gone. Shellis brushes his gloved hands together.
Welcome back. Good to see you're still alright. Do you know anything about a witch? Like, where a witch might live around here? Witch? I don't know about any witches, but there's a little fire student that sneaks around the neighborhood all the time. She's bought rings from me before. She goes to a particular house down the way, carrying potions. That house always has strange smoke billowing from the chimney. I know every house here has smoke, but I'm talking colorful smoke. Sometimes it's sparkly or causes the street to fog over. I'd assume a witch lives there. I don't know the student's name, but Private Quinn would. Hope that helps.
You peer down the street. There is purple sparking smoke spewing from a far chimney like he described. The fire elves must have distracted you until now, or else you would have noticed it a mile away. The house is identical to the rest. 2-story buildings with fire motifs and rounded red roofs. The door's unlocked to your surprise. An old, bony woman is by a bubbling cauldron in a fireplace. The bubbles that spill over spark and zap the firewood. It smells like sea salt and plums. The house is cluttered. Dusty books are piled along the floor. There are jars of pickling creature parts on every shelf. The eyeballs follow you. The chandelier has wax dripping from the lit candles, making wax stalactites. The witch is leaning on a long, upside-down broom. She's tall even though she's slouching. Her crooked, deep violet hat adds another foot to her height. She wafts some of the lavender steam toward herself and sniffs. Her nose is large and has a strong bump on the ridge. Anna, did you bring the dark fairy wings from Unicorn Way? She peers over my shoulder. You're not Anna! How dare you barge into my house? Did Ambrose send you to banish me? Well, I'm not going without a fight! She pulls a potion out of her front pocket, ready to throw it.
I'm not here to fight you!
You tuck your wand away and raise your hands. There could be anything in that vial. She could turn you into a humongo frog for all you know.
Are you the witch who corrupted the fire elves and the haunted minions?
What? I'm not a witch. I'm an alchemist. She uses the tip of her broom to place a lid on the purple boiling pot. I didn't know the fire elves were rebelling. She taps her chin and stops acknowledging you. Well, that explains why Anna is late. She's usually so reliable. If she tried to return, she's probably hiding somewhere on the street. She points your way. Why are you here? Wait, let me guess. No one knows what's going on and they need the witch's help. You shrug your shoulders.
Basically.
She groans and pinches the bump on her nose. Everyone is useless. Why can't the city guards figure this out?
They're protecting Old Town from the haunted...
Typical. They're always busy. Maybe if we hadn't sealed away the skeletal warriors, they'd have some men that don't need backup for their backup. Men with backbones.
Skeletal warriors?
Yes. She grumbles and trudges between book piles. Stupid student. I'd rather have enough flame right here. Her hat bumps into the chandelier, adding another bend in it. They were the guards before the current useless replacements we have now. She squints at you. How do I know I can trust you? Prove yourself. Get me a charred knife and some cooling magma from one of those magma men roaming the streets. If Anna can't get me ingredients, then you'll do for now. The magma men seep through the grates, stealing clothing from clotheslines and leave trails of molten rock behind. They aren't very solid. You shield yourself quickly. The magma man chucks a hunk of its molten body at you, but your shield saves you. Your quick thinking paid off. You throw your strongest spell at him, a scorpion. The venom from its stinger doesn't stop the continually melting enemy. You're going to have to rethink your strategy. Cooling him down seems like a better solution. You send a frost beetle at the magma man, and that does the trick. His movements slow down and stop entirely. You use his stolen top hat to carry his cooling head. The magma man's handmade knife isn't hot to the touch. You return to the totally not a witch's house. The cauldron has moved to her dining room table. She's ladling the purple fluid into large beakers. You smell like sulfur. Hand me the magma and knife or I won't help you. You give her both, and she runs her long nails across the cooled head. Looks like the root cause was a banshee's whale curse. You can see the strong ripples still engraved in the older solid rock. She taps her nails rhythmically against the magma man's head. Let's see. We have a few banshees on this street. The newest one is Bastilla Gravewind. You can hear her a mile away. She was the prima donna of the Fire Globe Theater a decade ago. She had a bitter relationship with the Fire Elves, especially fellow actors. She averts her eyes to the brim of her witch hat, recalling the past. During a performance of magic fire music, her elf co-star accidentally summoned actual fire magic. That was the end of poor Bastilla. She places a basket of ingredients on the table and puts the knife in a glass vase, already full of charred knives. I'd heard that she had a thriving underworld theater career. Crows love to gossip. No, I'm not a witch, even if I can talk to crows. I guess she decided to return with a vengeance. A banshee's will curse works like an auditory virus. You add in,
They were play rehearsals recently for Firecats.
then that dreadful musical served as the perfect way to infest the masses. Thankfully, this wail has only spread to the Fire Elves. I'll help you reverse the curse if you get my apprentice back when the street's calmed.
I promise I'll find Anna for you.
You think to yourself,
I saw her at old Judd's tower last, and I know she went with Penny to the pet pavilion.
alright, to reverse the curse, we need to record her voice. Get a Herkimer stone from the rotting fodders in Dark Cave.
Why?
Just get the stone. You're stopped on your journey to Dark Cave's entrance by a swinging sword. Luckily, you dodge it in time. There are a few skeletons running away from Dark Cave's direction. One of them chops a haunted minion's head clean off. You keep going the way they came. Dark Cave's gate appears to have been ripped open. Metal bars with a death symbol are strewn to the side as if it had been thrown with ease. The rest of the guards all have their boots anchored to the ground in front of the broken gate. They're using their tall shields to press against more skeletons. One of them shouts,
Don't let any more warriors in! Push on 3! 1, 2, 3!
Then there's a heave and a ho.
Heave ho!
This is an impressive feat, as there are only 4 guards against who knows how many undead. You recognize Private Orion from Unicorn Way amongst the 4 men. The guards push the skeletal warriors back, finally getting through the tunnel to Dark Cave.
How do we get these skeletons to fall back?
One of the guards spits between grunts.
Just keep pushing till reinforcements arrive. Reinforcement has arrived.
You say with irresolution. Private Orion tilts his head. He can see you out of the corner of his eye.
Hey, this kid rescued me on Unicorn Lane. They defeated Rattlebones.
Another guard pipes up.
Well, what are we waiting for? They sound like the perfect person to fight the skeletal warriors.
He releases his pressure against the undead and shoves you into the tunnel without hesitation. You dodge another swing of a sword and kick a few of the skeletal warriors' bones around. The skeletal warrior throws down a fire shield and bangs their sword against the front. You do your usual routine, throwing down your own elemental shield. He bangs his shield again, summoning a frost beetle. The skeletal warriors fighting the guards stop, and their heads slowly spin in your direction. Throwing your ice shield at the beetle is enough to stop it. Then you cast Scorpion. His sword meets the scorpion's tail, slicing it clean off. Then runs straight for you. You brace your shields, facing one toward the crowd of skeletons, now very interested in your battle. You duck, missing his swing by a hair, and watch the top of your wizard hat flop to the floor. There's not enough room behind your shields to cast a spell. The symbol you were forming fizzles. He throws a dark fairy behind your shields. You kick the pest and send a scarab beetle at him. The scarab beetle runs him over, finally throwing his bones to the ground. You can't keep up with their horde, so you make a gap in the crowd and find a ghoul so you can finally get that Herkimer stone Greta was after. After you bash the ghoul, you take the stone off of him. His ripped purple pinstripe suit turns black and ashen. He says,
You just wanted my Herkimer stone? I could have just dug one up for you. Oh.
You shrug your shoulders and teleport back to the not a witch. She zooms over to you on her broom. Ah, good. This should work nicely. Herkimer stones are hollow and can contain anything from sound to water. Let's see. She taps it with her broom and an explosion of electricity erupts from the stone, leaving the tip of her hat smoking and a scarred singe mark along her wallpaper. Why would a rotting fodder need electricity? They just hold a memory of their past life, usually. How peculiar. Did you get me more than one? Those could come in handy. At this point, you understand why she was fired. She's not the safest teacher.
No, you only asked for one.
Amateur. It's always good to have spares. Whatever. I'll imbue this with a contraption Baelstrom showed me a few times. She hands the stone back, now covered in wires and a seal for the hole on top. She pushes down a wire next to the seal and it opens the small hole. There we are. Now all you need to do is get Bastilla mad enough to let out a good shriek. Press the button before she curses you, and her sound waves will be contained in the stone. When you come back, we'll reverse her singing. She wags a finger. I did a little reconnaissance while you were gone. Big surprise, she's in her old house, the Diva's Tower. It's down that way. Good luck. The Diva's Tower is old and needs a new paint job. The roof and door are a dull pink. You can imagine that 10 years ago they would have been hot pink. There's a plate with Bastilla Gravewind in a fancy font. You enter. Bastilla is sitting in the middle of the dark, dusty room on a poof. The tower looks like a theater's changing room with a sun-bleached bed in the back. The light from a tall window is shining right in the center, making Bastilla glow. She stares at herself in her vanity mirror and pats her translucent, ghostly cheeks with blush. A beautiful Firecat engraved in gold holds up the mirror. In the reflection, her blue, highlighted, sunken eyes leave her figure and glare at yours. Feline, I'm not ready to perform yet or take autographs. You can't just walk into my dressing room without knocking. You shrug. She swivels around in her poof and stiffly places her bony hands on her wispy lower half where her legs would be. Her posture is pencil straight. Did you come for an exclusive performance by little ol' me? You must have heard the Fire Elves repeating their lines. Even when I force them to do as I ask, they still annoy me. They love me so much they're obsessed. Her large feathery hat shades her bony cheeks. You can see the faint lines of a smirk in the shadow. She belts out a single note in large bravado. Oh! You press the button on the stone while a dark sprite is summoned by her voice. The darkened fairy is pulling on your hair and imprinting black handprints on your skin that slowly drain you. As you stow away the Herkimer recorder, all you manage is a simple wand hit. Sparks fly and dispel the sprite while blinding Bastilla. She continues to sing with her eyes closed and swings her arms out in a grand gesture while spinning. A skull symbol forms from her lips. Charcoal bony arms hold down your feet. She has you in a death trap. You take in a deep breath and stay calm. Assuming she's going to hit you next, you prepare for the blow by holding your hands together in front of you. A soft green light emerges from your palms, and the loving beam builds your health back up. Your emerald beetle pet notices you're struggling. His stumpy tree trunk feet crawl up your back. He leaps off your shoulder and headbutts Bastilla. She's pushed back, but this does little to stop her belting. Her voice only goes stronger. Your pocket is glowing. Is that the Herkimer stone doing that? Bastilla is too focused on her performance to notice. She holds out the word Firecat and rushes you. A ball of bright energy blasts from her voice and hits you square on the chest. Her hands hold the light. Her fingertips are black and sharp. Her eyes are piercing, their white rings around her clouded blue pupils. You're sure that would have killed you if the glowing Herkimer stone wasn't absorbing her songs. The trap holding you down was used up by her blast. You change to a fighting stance and prepare to go for the throat. You trace out a leaf, the symbol glows and butterflies of light pours from it. A rainbow shoots out of the leaf, hitting the opposite wall of the tower and expels colorful glowing water that drips down the bricks. Everything in the room is a different color and Bastilla looks like a red clown. An emerald leprechaun surfs down the rainbow, leaps off in the middle, and throws a gold coin down Bastilla's gaping mouth. He flips to the ground and splashes into a green puddle on the floorboards. You will die! She chokes and reaches for her neck. Black makeup bleeds down her angled cheeks as she realizes you've silenced her. Her big brimmed hat falls off and she says in a cracked voice, "How dare you stop my comeback performance? It was going so well too. Fine, I'll leave. The Fire Elves weren't doing what I wanted anyway. The play was for me. I never get my way." Her hair twists above her and she reaches for the ceiling, bellows one last broken note, and sinks into the floorboards. You think to yourself,
Was she sulking in her tower because the Fire Elves didn't perform the way she wanted?
thanks for watching this far. The male presenting voices in the video are done by Pacnake. That's Pancake with the N and C switched. There's a link down below if you'd like to see his other work. I hope you'll look forward to part 2 of Firecat Alley in the next video.